Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting for February 14th, 2022. Happy Valentine's Day. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. And we affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. The deletion 4C number 1, that is the Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal Corporation. That's under the delegations for this evening. So any questions or comments there? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Okay. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by, do I got to go back? Okay, okay. It was blank. I'm going to sign her out here. Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Stikilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as amended. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that the Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting. That's from January 24th, 2022, the regular Council meeting. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stikilo. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. Action items. Number 1, proclamation, the coldest night of the year. Whereas the coldest night of the year campaign is a family-friendly national walkathon that raises funds that serve hungry, homeless, and hurting people in Dauphin and in over 140 communities across Canada. And whereas the coldest night of the year is a moment when tens of thousands of Canadians step outside the warmth and comfort of home and shine a light of welcome and inclusion. And whereas walking at dusk on a cold winter's night, participants feel a hint of the challenges faced by those experiencing homelessness during the winter. And whereas the coldest night of the year campaign collects donations that fund critical services through local charity partners that serve and support vulnerable families and individuals in our community. And now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim February 26th, 2022 as the coldest night of the year. And that's signed by myself. Just a quick mention, Councillor Bellemare is a part of that. I think coldest night of the year as the fundraiser as a whole is at 58% of the goal, which is $20,000 for the Food for Thought program for the Dauphin Friendship Center. So if you're looking to donate to that cause, you can go to cnoy.org/location/Dauphin, and it's really easy. Just click and follow the links and you can donate. So a great fundraiser, no doubt, the coldest night of the year. And again, that's a virtual event, so you can do it any day throughout the month of February. Be it resolved that Council proclaims, or sorry, I did that already. Number 2, outstanding water account added to taxes. Be it resolved that the following water account be added to taxes. That is 31 4th Avenue Southeast, $338.28. The previous tenant did not pay the final utility bill. And that is recommended by the Director of Finance and the Utility Clerk. Filing items under B, number 1, the Association of Manitoba Municipalities News Bulletin for February 4th. Number 2, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities FCM Connect for January 25th, February 1st, and February the 8th. Number 3, Manitoba news releases. Justice, the province invests additional $4 million for renovations and expansion of the Dauphin Courthouse. Climate and Parks, free provincial park entry for February. Department of Families, child care more affordable for low and middle income families. Education and early childhood learning, a new education funding model, and the Premier Manitoba Accelerating Plan to reduce restrictions. Under number 4, Age-Friendly Manitoba newsletter for January of 2022. Number 5, Canadian National Railway announces appointment of president and CEO. Number 6, Mountain View School Division's News Digest for January 24th, 2022. Number 7, Community Futures Parkland newsletter for January. Number 8, Multi-Material Stewardship Manitoba newsletter for January. Number 9, Prairie Mountain Health Plus newsletter, Health Plus newsletter for February. Number 10, Johnston and Company, great letter on snow clearing there. Number 11, Manitoba Ombudsman Ombuds News for January. Number 12, Winnipeg Freedom Convoy open letter to Premier Stephenson. And number 13, Cornwall Seaway News letter to the editor from Canada's medical practitioners as recommended by the mayor and city managers. So any questions or comments regarding those items? Go ahead, Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In regards to the newsletter that was provided by Age Friendly Manitoba, I just want to highlight that in your report that the city of Dauphin is an age-friendly community, and we, through our Dauphin Senior Center, they have amazing programs, and for anybody that's interested in looking into the age-friendly programs that are offered at the Senior Center, they're welcome to do so. And we applaud the Senior Centers for all their efforts to make sure that age-friendly issues are continued in our age-friendly programs are provided in our community. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Juba. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call those. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the February 14th regular Council meeting, that of the City Manager. Take it away, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been about 3 weeks since our last meeting, and have seemed to be busy getting this 2022 started, and it's amazing that we're already halfway into February. In terms of updates, as I've been doing for months now, a COVID-19 update. Lots going on regarding COVID in the last 3 weeks. Public health order changed on February 8th, and that allowed some larger gathering sizes. Didn't affect the city facilities, and everything remains as status quo. And upon the writing of this report, though, that there's a new health order coming in and starting tomorrow, I believe it is, right? So there's always lots of changes. The province is in code yellow, which is caution under the pandemic response system. And looking at the changes, they seem to again affect capacity limits, proof of vaccination requirements, and self-isolation requirements. So we will be reviewing these new requirements and make the appropriate changes to our facilities and notify our staff accordingly. Second thing to report is an update on Dauphin Airport. Dauphin Airport's quarterly meeting is later this week, and we've been doing some preliminary work on that meeting, and majority of the prep work will be completed this week. We have been working with Brandon Flight School to help them assess the runway for Saturday classes. Typically, there's no maintenance at the airport on weekends unless there's a requirement for emergency purposes like a life flight or a STARS air ambulance helicopter requirements. However, because of the flight school being here, and we really do want to support them and their endeavors to be viable for Dauphin in the Parkland, we're doing our best to get the runway in good condition on Fridays and communicating to the flight school late in the weekend what those conditions are, as well as our predictions of what the weather's going to do to see what the runway will look like. And then they get to choose if they are going to hold their classes or if they have to cancel for that weekend. So Brandon Flight School has been quite appreciative. The students have been appreciative of our efforts, and we are getting air pilots trained right here in Dauphin. Also, the airport manager has been maintaining the runway, taxiway, apron, and parking lot, and the roadways to the best of his ability during the recent snowfalls, cold temperatures, extreme wind, and then the snowfall again, and then the cold temperature, and then the wind, and then the snowfall again. He's been doing the best he can. And as of Friday's report, it was only 10% ice covered, and that's on the far edges of the runway. So something to note, there is no abrasives and no salt used on the runway. It is purely plowing and trying to get ahead of the snow and trying to get ahead of airplanes landing on it to pack that snow into ice. So it's quite a feat to maintain a runway with no sand, no salt. It's a good job. Next thing to update is the Emergency Measures Office, or EMO. So the Manitoba Emergency Measures Office has undergone some restructuring over the last few months. They have always been there to assist us in emergencies, and they provide that guidance and assistance to us under the Emergency Measures Act. And they also provide guidance for our Municipal Emergency Coordinator. The EMO did host an information webinar on January 25th. And they shared with us their new structure and introduced some new people to us. I have attached the slides from those presentations. There was 2 presentations. One was Manitoba Emergency Measures Organization, Municipal Engagement Information, and the next one was Mitigation and Preparedness Program, and that one was by Stephanie Woltman, who is the Acting Manager of Mitigation. Both of the presentations were very informative. I attended them with our Municipal Emergency Coordinator, Randy Daly. He indicated that he was aware of much of the information, but it's nice to see it all presented in one place. Sometimes it's hard to find things. You know you've seen it somewhere, and it appears that the Emergency Measures Office is putting all that information into one spot. Lastly, human resource update. Still working with QP 3240, and I see that I have a new email from them in my inbox. So things are progressing, and that's great. I was unexpectedly away for 3 days last week due to an illness, so I wanted to thank our staff for keeping things together in my absence, or unexpected absence, and I really appreciate that. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments regarding that report, Councillor Eilers?
Yes. So I want to go back to the airport and the training that's being done. And I just pulled up because to see, so Saturday they're calling for snow starting early in the morning into that. So is that canceled the day before, or does he find out the morning of? Like, what is the process for canceling and him doing extra work that's not required?
Yeah, certainly. So our airport manager works relatively early and is usually done around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If we know that there is a scheduled life flight or patient transfer or something, we do our best to keep the airport runways open to accommodate that. If it is unexpected, the airline that the province contracts to do medevacs or air flights, they call our airport manager and say, we will be there in so long. How's the runway? And if the weather conditions allow for it and the amount of snow allow for it, our airport manager will go out and clean the runway and get that put together. If not, our experience is that the process goes to a STARS air ambulance, and that's with a helicopter. So clearing the apron of a lot of snow is a lot easier, more manageable to do, and we'll accommodate the life flight that way.
My question was in regards to the flight school.
Oh, so in terms of the flight school, so they usually do Friday, Saturdays. They were doing that in the summertime, and they were, I guess, scaling back because they weren't sure. So we've increased our communication with them to allow them to decide whether they will cancel it or not. We did not want to incur any further costs to make the runway open for them to do the flight school on Saturday. But just by sharing more information, they get an idea of what the condition will be. So it's also I guess part of training is to not have 100% ideal conditions, and for the students to make some judgment calls of whether they should fly or not. And I understand that's part of the training.
Because I'm looking at this, the snow will start relatively early in the morning, and it looks like it'll continue all through the day, according to the forecast, starting at early in the morning and going. So would that call be made the day before or the day off? Because, it's starting to snow early in the morning, so.
Yeah, so as an example, not this past Friday, but 2 Fridays ago, there was snow in the forecast. Our airport manager was cleaning the runway and had it cleaned by the end of Friday, I'm going to say about 3:30, 4 o'clock. I relayed that information to Brennan Flight School by 5 o'clock on a Friday, and then they decide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments regarding the city manager's report? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that the finance accounts have been examined by council and be hereby authorized and approved as follows. The check totals from 29231 to 29341, 110 checks totaling $1,014,585.26. No voided checks in the current range, no voided checks in past ranges as of late, and the electronic payments for January of 2022, there were 4 of them totaling $160,243.07. Any questions regarding that? Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
Yes, I saw a payment in there for Flow, which is our electrical charger. So can you just explain to me how the financing works for that? It looks like we pay some money for their name on that, and then I know people charge, so can you just clarify for me?
Yeah, certainly. So our ICT manager would be better versed, and I'll make a note that maybe he can share that with council. But in a nutshell, we do have to pay to have the charger here, and there's a contract that we've signed with Flow for them to provide the service to us. We also have to pay for the energy that's used for each charge. And then in turn, people who do the charging pay for the energy.
Councillor Juba?
Yeah, thank you. Just to follow up on Councillor Bellemare's question, what exactly or how much are the users charged for using the?
Yeah, certainly. So it is $20 for 1 hour of charge, and the amount of time that's needed to charge a vehicle depends on the vehicle. So a vehicle with a bigger battery, I'll say it that way, a higher power battery has the ability to draw the power more efficiently, and they'll get a full charge in a shorter amount of time. A vehicle with a smaller battery or a less range of a vehicle, they don't have the ability to pull it as strongly, so their batteries it takes longer for them to have a full charge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following engineering staff report for the February 14th regular council meeting out of the building inspector for January. Any questions regarding that report? And I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the February 14th regular council meeting for the bylaw enforcement in January. Any questions regarding that report? Seeing none, I'll call them. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the February 14th regular council meeting for animal control in January. Any questions or comments there? Councillor Bellemare.
Yes, Todd references a park sponsorship program in his report. Could I get more explanation about what that's all about?
Certainly. So our animal control officer is working with local businesses to sponsor, for for lack of a better term, poop bags. Bags to pick up after your animals. And so as part of that, there would be some recognition for those businesses.
Councillor Eilers.
Yes, I just when I read this, I said that they're looking up for off the leash park location, still pending location. And so I'm kind of concerned that it's not in a populated area because that can be very noisy. We've got one that's located behind in the DRS grounds where there is no, residents living there and stuff. So I was just wondering where they were looking for this and if you have any idea.
So I do know that there was an expression of interest to say, can there be something more in the north? We do have an existing park, Meadowlog Park, but looking at it, just like you've said, Councillor Eilers, it's residential all the way around that park. And there's some new development coming in it, so there might not be space for an off-leash dog park in that area. I think that that's probably something that we should be looking at in the summertime, get a better sense of open space and whatnot. And we're also doing some research into, what's the criteria? Trees versus no trees, residential versus open spaces, different kinds of use and whatnot. So definitely no decisions are made yet.
Yeah. My concern is there's a lot of the apartment blocks there that aren't allowed to have pets and stuff. So if there's noise from that, and I'm talking about one area where they did put, and there was a lot of the apartment blocks and they were not allowed to have pets. And so there was numerous complaints and they ended up moving it. So
well, I guess it's one thing if there's an apartment block that does allow pets, it would be great to have some green space close by. But if they don't even allow pets, that's a lot of population right there that would not have any use for
it. Councillor Juba, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I just thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say that in the last while, the reporting has been excellent from all the bylaw officer and animal control officer. And my question is, with the new reporting system, has there been trends developing that, like for animal control wise, has there been any tracking of the trends of offenses, or is it too soon to really to monitor that or give a report or feedback on?
That's a good question. I think that we're still in our first year, or just into our first year of reporting. So tough to compare at this time, but that's a really good point to maybe have some either monthly comparisons similar to the building inspector, perhaps, or quarterly inspections or some comparisons. Thank you.
Councillor Eilers.
Okay, so I'm just, I have it written down and I forgot to ask, but the bylaw enforcement officer had enforcement notices and DRS was sent to cut, and it's got 29. It's January, so it doesn't make sense to me. Is this a carryover from last year, or is this something else that these 29?
No, I believe that actually in that category, so enforcement notices would be 29, and DRS were sent to cut is an additional line there, so there would be none.
Because there's no division.
Right, should be 0 there, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the minutes and reports from the following committees. Number 1, Fort Dauphin Museum, regular board meeting for December 1st of 2021. Profit and loss budget versus actual for January to December of 2021. Profit and loss budget versus actual January 1st to February 2nd, 2022. And balance sheet previous year comparison as of February 2nd of this year. Number 2, the Riverside Cemetery regular board meeting for December 20th, 2021. Number 3, the Dauphin and District Handy Van Association regular board meeting for January 11th, 2022. And number 4, Dauphin Recreation Services regular board meeting for January 26th, 2022. Any questions or comments regarding all those meetings? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers, whereas the city's Public Works, Engineering, ICT, and Finance team have been working on developing a policy plan, training, and asset registry as part of an asset management program that will capture the status and condition of all city assets to ensure they continue to be managed responsibly going forward. And whereas in February 2021, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Municipal Asset Management Program awarded funding to the City of Dauphin to support the implementation of an asset management program offering 80% of the total eligible project costs to a maximum of $50,000. Be it resolved that Council accepts this information, a grant agreement between the City of Dauphin and the Federation of Canadian Municipalities outlining the terms and conditions for the receipt of $50,000 towards the city's asset management program, and a memorandum dated February 11th, 2022 from the Deputy City Manager recommending that the agreement be approved. Further, be it resolved that Council agrees with the recommendation from the City Manager and authorizes the FCM grant agreement to be signed and sealed by the City Manager and the Director of Public Works and Operations on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Any questions or comments there? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council approves the following council and staff members as signing authorities for the City of Dauphin. Mayor Christian Laughlin, Deputy Mayor Devin Stakilo, Councillor Patty Eilers, City Manager Charlotte Griffiths, Deputy City Manager Lisa Gadet, and Director of Finance Scott Carr. Any questions or comments there? Call those questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers, whereas in 2020, the City of Dauphin renewed its lease agreement with Shared Health Incorporated for space at CN Station for a period of 2 years from April 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2022. And whereas the lease agreement provides the option to extend the lease for 3 additional terms of 1 year, provided the leasee submits their notice of extension 3 months in advance of the lease term. And be it resolved that Council accepts this information correspondence dated December 22nd, 2021 from Adam Top, Chief Executive Officer of Shared Health Incorporated, and a memorandum dated February 10th, 2022 from the Deputy City Manager recommending that Shared Health Incorporated's request to extend the lease for their final renewal term, which would expire on March 31st, 2023, be approved. Further, be it resolved that Council agrees with the Deputy City Manager's recommendation and authorizes that the lease extension agreement between the City of Dauphin and Shared Health, Inc. for an additional 1-year term to March 31st, 2023 be signed and sealed by the City Manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Any questions or comments there? Yeah, Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question, I think it's great Shared Health is moving into the CN station. My question is, what space in the station are they going to be occupying? And is that a new space created, or is that a space that was vacated by someone else?
So Shared Health has been there for many years.
Yes.
I think so. And they used to be called
Rural and Northern Health.
Yeah, Rural and Northern
Winnipeg
Health.
Regional Health Authority, Rural Northern Health.
Yeah. So they're on the main floor.
So this is a renewal of the lease. So yeah, they're on the right-hand side on the main floor.
Yeah, I was just wanting a clarification because they changed the name and everything. So people are thinking, well, somebody moved out and somebody's moving in. So thank you for clearing that up for the public. Thank you.
Councillor Bellemare.
For the fee that's being paid, does it continue the same, or is there a built-in increase?
We build in increases.
Any other questions or comments? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Eilers, whereas the City of Dauphin's bylaw 3323 standards for mobile homes only provides for mobile homes not exceeding 10 years of age. Be it resolved that Council accepts this information correspondence dated February 2nd, 2022, from the owner of Triangle Mobile Home Park, Len Lundstedt, requesting approval to move a mobile home older than 10 years to lot number 30-74 Triangle Road. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts this information, a memorandum dated February 7th, 2022, from the building inspector, reviewing the application and recommending that Council approve the application with conditions. So further, be it resolved that Council approves the request from Len Lundstedt to move in said mobile home to number 30-74 Triangle Road with the following conditions. Number one, the owner obtains a development permit from the City of Dauphin for the moved-in mobile home. Number two, the site for the mobile home must comply with CSA standard Z240.10.1-94 site preparation, foundation, and anchorage of mobile homes. Number three, no structural connections are permitted for additions. Number four, the mobile home park owner must sign the permit and approve the move-in of the used mobile home. And number five, when the mobile home is moved onto the site and upon inspection, if the mobile home appears to be modified, a provincial safety standards inspection will be required to rectify the mobile home. Any deficiency discovered will be required to be corrected to allow the mobile home to stay in the mobile home park. Any questions or comments regarding that? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas since 1988, the City of Dauphin, in partnership with the rural municipality of Dauphin, has worked with an economic development and tourism board made up of representatives from both councils, the Chamber of Commerce, and members at large, and acting as an advisory group to facilitate economic and business growth in Dauphin. And whereas terms of reference are required for all internal and external committees of council and must be approved by a council resolution, and whereas the terms of reference for the Dauphin Economic Development and Tourism Board have been updated to include a name change to the Dauphin Economic Development Committee to reflect the committee's status as an advisory body that reports directly to council. Be it resolved that council approves the Dauphin Economic Development Committee's updated terms of reference. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Did you have something to say, Martine? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated January 27th, 2022 from Cheryl Lewis, Administrative Officer for the Manitoba Water Services Board, on behalf of MWSB General Manager Travis Parsons, regarding their 5-year capital planning process and a request for municipalities to identify water and sewer projects that may be considered for construction in the next 2 to 5 years. Further, be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated February 4th, 2022 from the Director of Public Works and Operations outlining the priority water and wastewater projects as follows. Number one, wastewater treatment and lagoon upgrades. Number two, Main Street South water main renewal and rehabilitation. Number three, pressure management system upgrades. Number four, water supply security. And number five, aqueduct renewal. And further, be it resolved that council agrees with the recommendation from the Director of Public Works and Operations that the above noted projects be forwarded to the Manitoba Water Services Board for consideration to be included in the MWSB 5-year capital plan. Any questions or comments there? Councillor Juba.
I just want to thank our, what's your title over there? Pardon? Thank you. The Public Works and Operations Officer, and city management for prioritizing these initiatives. It's great to see that we have a lot of priorities. And my question is, are these in order of preference, or does it really, this was asked at last week's meeting, and I just want the public to know, or to advise the public that of what priority these projects are.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they're in somewhat of a priority listing here. I would say they're prioritized based on for sure our need, but also the actual expectation of work getting completed. So that's part of why they're numbered the way they are. So definitely we all know that the lagoon project's been on our radar for quite a few years. So that's still a hot topic, and the city wants to continue pressing that one forward with the province. So Main Street South, that's part just because of some planned highway work, so may as well take advantage of the road being under construction at the same time. And then the ones following that are kind of equally up there in priority, but they've just been listed as they are. So
thank you for your report. I know you've been on board with the city of Dauphin for a relatively short time compared to other people, and you've done an amazing job of catching up with all the priorities and prioritizing what needs to be done, and you're to be commended for all your hard work and setting a target for a 5-year plan for getting everything done.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Bellemare.
I think this resolution is a good way of reminding our public how supplying water and sewer services to our community is expensive. These are big ticket items, and there's a lot of infrastructure that's involved in order to do this effectively. So, just wanted people to know that maybe there could be an article about it in the Herald in great detail about what all of this is about. But just so you know, this is a necessary service, and I'm glad to see all the legwork that's been done behind this. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Whereas capital purchases proposed in advance of the approval of the city's annual financial plan require authorization by a resolution of council. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated February 10th, 2022 from the Director of Finance recommending approval of a request from Dauphin Recreation Services for a Titan Powerliner 850 field marking sprayer required for the spring start of soccer and baseball season for a cost of $3,399 plus freight and applicable taxes. Further be it resolved that council agrees with the Director of Finance's recommendation and approves the capital purchase of a Titan Powerliner 850 field marking sprayer for a cost of $3,399 plus freight and applicable taxes to be funded by the Recreation Reserve. Any questions or comments regarding that? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stikilo, seconded by Councillor Juba. Whereas capital purchases proposed in advance of the approval of the city's annual financial plan require authorization by a resolution of council, and be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated February 10th, 2022 from the Director of Finance recommending approval of a request from Dauphin Recreation Services for a Waste Corp pumps watering tank for communities in Bloom to be used with an existing half-ton truck for trial during the upcoming watering season for a cost of $11,500 plus freight and applicable taxes. Further be it resolved that council agrees with the Director of Finance's recommendation and approves the capital purchase of a Waste Corp pumps watering tank for a cost of $11,500 plus freight and applicable taxes to be funded by the Recreation Reserve. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stikilo. Whereas the Dauphin and District Community Foundation grant provides funding for projects that improve the quality of life in our community. Be it resolved that Council accepts this information. An 18-hole disc golf course design video created by Brian Garrett, solicited by Dauphin Recreation Services for the creation of a premier course for one of the fastest growing sports in the world to be incorporated into Vermilion Park. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts this information, a request from Ryan Vanderheyden, DRS General Manager, for a letter supporting their application to the Dauphin and District Community Foundation for a grant to support the installation of a disc golf course at Vermilion Park, which would be inclusive of people of all ages and abilities and open to the public year-round. Further, be it resolved that Council commends Dauphin Recreation Services for their efforts to provide an accessible, inclusive sporting activity requiring minimal upkeep, thereby enriching our tourism offerings to outdoor sports enthusiasts from across the province, and approves a letter supporting Dauphin Recreation Services in their application to the Dauphin and District Community Foundation for the Vermilion Park Disc Golf Project. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried.
Just
Go ahead.
Just a comment. I was just thinking about how when people come to our community, for example, to use Northgate Trails, that, I would imagine Dauphin Rec Services would have things set up so that there's a complete list of all the offerings in the community, because that certainly seems to be growing in terms of what it is that we're offering, so that just that people don't leave and go, oh man, if I'd known that was
Missed
there.
out.
Yeah, I could have used that. Yeah.
Yeah, because a disc golf course will be kind of hidden in Vermilion Park in a good way, though. So, moved by Deputy Mayor Stikilo, seconded by Councillor Juba. Whereas the Dauphin and District Community Foundation grant provides funding for projects that improve the quality of life in our community, be it resolved that Council accepts this information. An outdoor natural play concept design submitted by Scatlift and Miller and Murray, which was solicited by Dauphin Recreation Services for a toddler playground at Meadowlark Park. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts this information, a request from Ryan Vanderheyden, DRS General Manager, for a letter supporting DRS's application to the Dauphin and District Community Foundation for the toddler playground, and noting that the playground would complement natural elements of Meadowlark Park by adding structures for climbing, tunneling, rolling, and sliding. Further, be it resolved that Council commends Dauphin Recreation Services for their efforts to provide an opportunity for safe, physical, imaginative, and interactive play for this targeted age group, and approves a letter supporting DRS in their application to the Dauphin and District Community Foundation for the Meadowlark Park Toddler Playground Project. Any questions or comments regarding that one? Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In past, the community has supported a lot of different fundraising efforts at various schools for playground sets. Is there, and over the years, those playground sets are quite costly, and et cetera. Is there a cost estimate that the Rec Commission is looking at for the toddler park, and are there going to be supplementary fundraising campaign on a go-forward basis to fundraise for that?
Be on the board. No? Thank you, Councillor Juba. So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you are exactly correct. These structures have, they're a lot more expensive than what I thought. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars. Now I do know that this one is, there is some components of natural playground type things. So hills and slides integrated into hills, and climbing walls integrated to hills, those kinds of things. Also keep in mind, it's for toddlers, so they're like, the little ones. I believe at this time, Dauphin Rec Services is trying to garner as much funding from external sources as possible. And we do know that there's always an opportunity to open it up for donations if necessary. I think their funding structure is still being determined.
Thank you very much. And I really want to applaud the Rec Commission for a lot of their foresight in developing projects for all citizens of our community. Like I know disc golf actually appeals to me because of my athletic stature. I think I can manage that quite well. So thank you to the Rec Commission for all their hard work and the councillors that are on that committee. So.
Speaking of councillors that are on the Recreation Board, Councillor Sakilo, you have a question or comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It started out as a comment, but maybe I can just provide some clarity for Councillor Juba as well. But I too just want to commend Dauphin Rec and the staff there on their foresight and their ability to integrate different types of activities and options for all ages within our community. I know Meadowlark Park is a well, not anymore because we are starting to improve it, but historically sort of an underutilized park, and a lot of people just walking their dogs and enjoying it that way. But now we're starting to enhance the features there, and I think it's great as we look at our total number of assets that we have, recreation assets within the community, and I've been on council for a number of years now, and just seeing the evolution of different areas being developed, I think is great because it offers a wide selection of opportunities for our citizens as well as individuals visiting our community. Just also Councillor Juba, as city manager alluded to, I think at this point DRS is certainly looking at every opportunity for funding as they do with all their projects, and if there is an opportunity, I think down the road for possibly sponsorship, sort of similar to the tennis courts, that might be an option too. But they do an excellent job at taking a look at every opportunity that's available for them. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sakilo. Whereas the TELUS Indigenous Communities Fund offers grants up to $50,000 for Indigenous-led social health and community programs, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a master plan concept design for a 4-season toboggan run and correspondence dated February 4th, 2022 from Stacey Penner, noting that the 4-season toboggan run is the first community project developed jointly with a Treaty 2 territory, the Northwest Métis Council, and the Dauphin Friendship Center, along with Dauphin Recreation Services and other community members, and requesting a letter supporting their application to the TELUS Indigenous Communities Fund for the development of a 4-season toboggan run in Dauphin. Further be it resolved that Council commends the 4-season toboggan run project organizers for their efforts to invest in the mental and physical health of children and families in Dauphin, and for cultivating relationships with Indigenous community partners, and approves a letter supporting their application to the TELUS Indigenous Communities Fund to make a 4-season toboggan run possible. Any questions or comments there? Just an absolutely great initiative. I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Whereas the Government of Canada's 2022 Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II Community Projects Grant Program provides funding for community-based projects and celebrations in honor of the 70-year reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated February 10th, 2022 from Teresa de Hoylos, Executive Director, Curator of the Fort Dauphin Museum, requesting a letter supporting FDM's application to the 2022 Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II Community Projects for funding for a celebratory event at the museum to mark this anniversary and provide an opportunity to learn about the history, symbols, and role of the Crown in Canada. Further be it resolved that Council commends the Fort Dauphin Museum for recognizing the historic significance of this 70th anniversary and approves a letter supporting their application to the 2022 Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II community projects to make this commemorative event possible. Any questions or comments regarding that? Seeing none, I'll call questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the invitation listed below, and that is to the Mountain View School Division's discussion on local education happening on February 22nd. Looking forward to that event. No community events on the table for this meeting. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. And we will move to councillors' privileges, and we will start with Councillor Juba. Go ahead, Councillor Juba.
I thank you, Mr. Mayor. On January 20, I just want to wish the community a happy Valentine's Day. We have lots to be happy for in our community, and it's a time to enjoy a festive occasion. So the days are getting longer, and spring is not too far away. So January 24th, attended a regular city council meeting here at city, or actually I did that one by Microsoft Media. January 27th, I attended Dauphin District Handy Vans budget meeting. It was a very interesting meeting. They laid out their plans, financial plan for the year, and their next general meeting will include an AGM so that they can pass their budget and so that they can be prepared for their upcoming season of providing excellent service to our community. February the 2nd, I attended the Homeless Strategy Engagement meeting via Zoom. It was a very educational meeting for myself. I knew there was a lot of committed people to in our community that are committed to homeless strategy and solutions, and I learned that there is a lot more people involved in the community than I thought, and it's great. I think there was a lot of conversation at that meeting that my only thoughts, well, not my only thoughts, but if everybody can get in the same room, a lot of the committee members have the same ideas, and I think if everybody can put all their ideas together and we can really put a strategy, Dauphin strategy, so that it would mirror the provincial strategies. So, yeah, so a lot of work to be done on that, and looking forward on a go-forward basis. So, on February the 7th, I attended the Strategic Planning and Priorities meeting here at City Hall. I was here in person for that meeting. Wednesday, or on the February the 9th, it was a Wednesday actually, attended the Prairie Mountain meeting with Brian Schoonbart. Members of the members from the RM Council were present, and the CAO, Nicole Chakota, and our three members of City Council plus myself were at that meeting. And again, a lot of interesting topics were discovered. Brian Schoonbart gave a real good synopsis of the ever-changing world as far as healthcare delivery, and he was very encouraging, and he seemed to be very direct and friendly to work with, and we look forward to many more meetings with him on a go-forward basis. Everything is changing in the world of COVID and all, with restrictions, etc. But there are other healthcare delivery systems that the province has initiated at the same time. And now that the focus will be back on sharing some information, the community will be quite surprised at how well the RHA has coped under duress. February the 10th, attended the Parkland Chamber of Commerce committee meeting via Zoom for some of my community events. I want to first of all start off by thanking Ann Stewart, who left a generous donation to the Dauphin Handy Van. The board of the Handy Van says her generosity and kind heart will never be forgotten. I want to thank the Dauphin Herald and CKDM for sharing this story with the community. It highlights, again, the generosity of benefactors to various organizations, and the Handy Van is definitely a service that is appreciated by those who use it. Nominations for the Parkland Chamber of Commerce Business Awards are closed, and awards will be presented in March during the Chamber Celebration Night. These awards recognize dedicated community business and individuals. I want to encourage people to do what I'm doing, have been doing in the last little while. I've been trying to rehab my hip, and I've been going downtown for little walks when the weather is not so cold, and just sort of rediscovering downtown Dauphin. I walked into it was a great feeling when I walked into the library. The staff were excellent, and I could not help but think of former Mayor Dauphin and all his hard work that he and his vision and dedication for preserving this service, not only for our citizens, for our community, but for the Parkland region. He was instrumental in getting the bookmobile going and all those wonderful things that the Parkland area enjoys for the library. I want to commend the Economic Development and Tourism Department and all those that were involved in the signing installation at the entrances to the city as green spaces. They're going to look great once they're all working, and excellent work, and just everything is improving in our community, and we have a lot of reasons to be positive. There are many people in our community that are in a region who are directly affected by the crisis in Ukraine. Especially, I want to acknowledge Father Oleg Dnrc and his family. They are from the Ukraine, and I am sure that they are concerned about what's happening in their home country. And there, a good many of our citizens have or had connections to Ukraine, and we are thinking about them. Coldest night of the year continues in aid of the Food for Thought program. I'm glad this organization has taken over the coldest night of the year. Habitat for Humanity was a great beneficiary of this fundraising effort in the last 2 years, and prior to that, the Parkland Crossing ran the annual event. This is just another example of the community showing support and being aware that there are many people in our community who are in need. Coldest night of the year. It's a great fundraising this year. Coldest night of the year is a virtual event, as mentioned already, and Saturday, February 26th is the big day. And I did donate to a participant in this event, and I wish that participant well in raising funds. She's a great community activist and supporter of events such as Coldest Night. I would like to show my appreciation to the city of Dauphin for acknowledging the 70th anniversary of Her Majesty in her Platinum Jubilee. When I saw that picture, it brought back memories for me as I worked at the Selo Ukraina site in preparation for this visit, and it was just a lot of people commented that it was a great reminder of a great event in our community. Louis Riel Day is presented by the Northwest Métis Council as a virtual celebration going to be held on Monday, February the 21st. There are scheduled events held from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And to end my report, I just want to offer my condolences to the Kalita family on the passing of Sandra Kalita's mother. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Juba. Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. On January 24th, I attended the City Council meeting. On January 26th, I attended the CMNRC webinar. It's basically community based on community health and wellness. It was a round table and it was improving upon situation tables. And so the discussion was with how to deal with crisis and engaging different organizations to see that all different situations were handled. And that included the local police as well as the RCMP and a lot of various groups that work in the community. On January 27th, we had a Communities in Bloom meeting. February 7th was planning and priority meeting, and I too attended on February 9th the meeting with the Prairie Mountain Health with Brian Schumart. It was really good overview of the challenges they faced and as well as with the COVID-19. And it was good to see that there's some new programming to deal with a lot of issues that are facing us today. And I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. And I want to offer condolences to Lloyd Austin's family on his passing. This gentleman was a great restorer of antique vehicles, and he had very great mechanical skills, and he worked in various places through the city, and his knowledge and talent will be missed. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Eilers. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. I've attended 3 WAC meetings recently, Watson Arts Center, 1 a regular board meeting. 1 was a liaison meeting where we meet with City Hall reps and just talk about the building and planning ways of funding the various needs that are there. And the 3rd one was a building committee meeting itself. So we had a tour of the building after the meeting, and there have been several projects that have been finished. So we looked at those, and now the next areas that need to be addressed were also looked at. Attended a Dauphin and Area Welcoming Committee Coalition, and basically that committee has been set up in the last year with all the policies and blah, 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 blah. So now we're getting ready to work. And the 3 pillars of this group that we'll be working on are helping welcome people in this area by looking at social inclusion, by looking at improving labor market outcomes for them and building support system capacities for them. And that meeting with Prairie Mountain Health leaders has been mentioned. I just wanted to say I thought they had a really good understanding of the challenges that are being faced. They gave us lots of helpful information, and certainly you could see that there was a commitment to improving. I mean, it's going to take a while because there's a lot of work to do, but it was just good to have that meeting. Coldest Night of the Year has been mentioned a few times. That program, Food for Thought, currently is funding hot lunches for 740 students each week, 2 meals a week each week. So certainly very, very important. So as mentioned, I'm one of those people who is walking. And if you can't remember that website that Mayor Loughlin mentioned, the other alternative is you can just simply take a check to the Friendship Center. They will receipt that as well. So there are income tax receipts available, and the children, of course, say thank you. Louis Riel Day is coming up next week. So 2 possibilities for Monday. Rotary snowshoeing event is happening at Northgate Trails, and apparently chili is going to be served over the campfire. And Northwest Métis Council has advertised all the program that they have lined up on that day. The Herald has a big ad, and I assume CKDM also has information on that. And I'd like to conclude my report with kudos. Well, people have the right to protest peacefully in Canada. The recent weeks have been really difficult, and I would just like to thank all of those people who followed all the laws of our country and those people who have been respectful to all of their fellow Canadians. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Deputy Mayor Stikilo, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Loughlin. One of the beauties of going last here is that pretty much all of the upcoming events have been mentioned, and you know, I really just have to run through some of my past activities for the past couple of weeks. So for myself, yeah, regular council meeting on January 24th. January 26th, a Dauphin Rec Board meeting, and it's exciting to see what things are happening at for recreation offerings. I mean, we've already talked about this evening. So a lot of the information, a lot of the discussion at the meeting, pertains to some upcoming priorities and projects for DRS. And things are looking great for 2022, especially coming off of the year of 2021. So just commend the staff there for their resilience and their professionalism at getting our community through another difficult year. So that's great. January 28th, the Daca neighborhood renewal meeting for DNRC. We've March 31st is the year end for DNRC, and there is still a little bit of opportunity for some grant money out there with our small grants fund. And if you have any last minute submissions, certainly reach out to the DNRC office. We have a new executive director there, Amanda Novak. She has recently started with the organization and has hit the ground running. She's doing a fantastic job at taking a look at some of the past projects and really pushing forward for this year. So I commend her on that. And on February 7th, I also attended the strategic planning and priorities meeting. That about does it for me, and that concludes my report. Thanks.
Thank you. And before we get to myself, we'll throw it on over to Catherine Kowalczyk, our youth council member. Catherine, what have you been up to?
Well, definitely not as much as everyone else, but we just started our second semester in our high school. So I had 2 classes before, so now I'm going from 2 to 4, so definitely a change. Same things as before, just working, volunteering at the Humane Society, and I play volleyball in Brandon on a club team, so traveling to Brandon once a week. And in March, it'll be from once a week to 3 times a week, which will definitely be a lot of driving, but definitely worth it. And I just want to say thank you for everyone who has been very welcoming to me here. And that is all.
Thank you very much. It's been great to have you. For myself, January 24th, I attended the regular council meeting. On the 26th, I too attended that Dauphin rec board meeting just to go further on what Deputy Mayor Stakila was talking about. Just seems like recreation kind of starting to come alive a bit more now with the restrictions being loosened. I believe there's a hockey tournament in Dauphin this weekend, which is exciting to see that again, just to see people in that building and using it from a tourism and a recreation standpoint. On February the 7th, strategic planning and priorities meeting here at City Hall. Also attended the meeting with Prairie Mountain Health board members and CEO Brian Schoonbart on February the 9th. As mentioned, lots of great discussion there. Prairie Mountain Health, at least I believe it was for councils for the most part. It seems like they've got a pretty good handle on our region here in Dauphin and what's going on, and they've got a pretty good plan going forward. So really good conversation there with that group. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet on the meeting front for me lately, but expected to get busy soon, especially this week. So I do want to mention just a couple minor things or major things, depending on how you look at it, before I let you go. Obviously, Louis Riel, big thing coming up on Monday. Do want to point everyone to the Northwest Métis Council's Facebook page. Just they've got a lot of great information on there for Louis Riel Day. There's a virtual celebration happening from 1 to 6. As mentioned, starts at 1 with the live opening greetings, and then 6 o'clock there's going to be a fireworks show at the Dauphin Fairgrounds. You can attend that, but due to the public health orders, they're asking individuals to remain in their vehicles at all time. But fireworks are happening again in Dauphin on February 21st, Monday at 6. So be sure to check that out. It's been a while since we've had a regular council meeting, and the last one was on the 24th and on January 31st. And we talked about it lots on the 24th, but the snow just doesn't seem to go away. On January 31st, we had a blizzard in the community. And I just, again, want to talk about how great the snow clearing has been in the community. As a guy who used to travel with the Dauphin Kings and been to a number of communities around the province, it's easily our snow clearing group at Public Works is top three, among the top in the province. The blizzard happened on the 31st, which was a Monday, and the streets were clear by the 3rd, which was a Thursday, and that includes the sidewalks. So, I mean, they're doing a great job over there, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. I think we're supposed to get 5 to 10 more centimeters tonight and then more on Friday. So just keep up the great work. I feel like I needed to mention that because I don't think we've had a blizzard in Dauphin in a number of years, but nonetheless, just great job by the Public Works Department there. And lastly, before I go, Sam Brownell, first council meeting. Congratulations. You look like you're having a fun time back there. Welcome to the party. And with that being said, moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that the council meeting be recessed at 6:11, and happy Valentine's Day.